The tour begins at the architect's own home, nestled between the traditional colonials and Victorians of the Upper East Side. The striking modernist home is actually an addition to an existing turn-of-the-century carriage house. New construction is separated from the existing structure with a two-story gap that contains a typical Rakatansky staircase leading to the loft above the carriage house. Other typical Rakatansky features, such as full-height lintel-less doorways, coexist in harmony. The existing structure contains the private spaces, while the addition allows for more public spaces of entry, kitchen, dining, and living rooms, in a modernist free-flowing of space without the constraints of traditional masonry bearing walls and punched openings.
The steel columns don't touch the wall. You put your hand right behind it. And then you frame it so that we have solid cedar decking. That starts at this beam and cantilevers over like a diving board on that way.
The early work is an abstract composition of severe forms overlapping. The two-story house occupies a sloped site, allowing for garage access below. The house opens up to the backyard, although the windows have been unfortunately replaced. Here, modernist details commingle with more traditional materials and methods. Along Providence's stately Blackstone Boulevard, an early work by Mr. Rakatansky shows a similar severity of volumes. The house is a modernist contrast to its more typical neighbors. This was a frequent concern for Mr. Rakatansky, as many of his houses were made to fit into very traditional neighborhoods with more common types of domestic architecture. Here, a tiny sloping site cradles a rather spacious 3-bedroom, 2-bath suburban home. Parking is below at street level, with the master suite raised above. Although the house is basically a ranch parallel to the street face, it has a very modernist entry sequence where one approaches in a meandering fashion from the side, leading up a curved staircase through a semi-private garden anteroom, approaching the house at its most interesting spot at the intersection of the roof line and the fireplace chimney. One again enters the house from the side rather than dead-on center, as in traditional architecture. Once inside, the house appears surprisingly spacious and airy, as the divisions between the rooms are provided by changes in ceiling plane rather than walls. One of Mr. Rakatansky's signature corner fireplaces anchors the L-shaped living room. 2 bedrooms and a bath occupy the rear next to the kitchen, and the master suite is a few steps up in a loft-like space.